All right, hi folks. This is Dr. Gerard Cuomo. I'm here with another rescue case. Just to go over quickly with this case. This is an Implantec. I'm sorry, not Implantec. It's an Implant Direct implant. That's very similar to that of the Zimmer. It's a 3.7 narrow neck. The color code is green. So here's the abutment. And then, of course, that's the abutment screw going into the fixture. So the dentist had gone in and tried to use a flat driver. So he created a slot, but the slot went all the way from one end of the abutment to the other. And you can see how it's kind of bent out a little bit on the lip. Hopefully none of that transferred down into the fixture head itself. So our hope is to just go ahead and remove the rest of the remnants of the screw head to free up the abutment and get the abutment out in one piece, and then of course the screw should be very loose from there. Pre-soaking is first, and then we'll move along. Our pre-soaking is done with a material called tartar and stain. Yeah, tartar and stain remover. It's very mild acid, but it works well. It's not going to cause any problem to the titanium. But what we'd like to do first is let's go ahead and remove some of the soft tissue. There it is in the number 10 position. My dentist is going to try to keep me in the middle, so you might hear us say, middle please, middle please. So that's what we're trying to do here, just try to stay in the middle. Alright, so there it is. That should be in focus. I can see the slot itself. It's going. And so a little laser first, so we'll do that. I'll put my laser goggles on. Patient has his on. My assistant has hers on. All right. All right. And now we're initiating the laser. We do that with a piece of cork. And that's not cork left over from the last party. All right, so we're just, you got to initiate it with something, and that's what we use. A substance that it's looking for. It looks for pink, red, anything in that wavelength of 810 nano on that light list. All right, here we go. And so we're doing a circular motion to the laser just to take some of the granulated tissue that's grown in there. Gingiva is going to grow pretty fast, so like if we saw him tomorrow after the laser, we'd probably see some already migration of tissue collapsing back in around the implant. So what we're doing is we're staying in good solid tissue that's resilient to recession, and so that we can keep an aesthetic result. That's the goal in mind. Are we in the middle? Alright. Okay, move your hand. Thank you, ma'am. So right about 1 watt. 1 watt right now. That's because we want to minimize any charring. We don't want to char tissue. It's kind of like an ablation. You know, we're going in. We're just going superficial, though. We're not going too deep. Did have to anesthetize our patient. And there's some of the zirconia still in there. I see. It looks like it. No, I could be wrong. Yep, looks like a piece of zirconia. Wrapping around. and some on the mesial, some on the distal. We're going to bump it up to 1.1. And I'm going to move in with my focus. And continue to trim. What we want to do is visualize the head of the fixture. And you got to do that because you got to see the angle of everything, including the remnants of the abutment and also that of the screw. Angle's key. You doing okay? Mm-hmm. Awesome. I think I might go to the crown and bridge mirror, which you can ask for. It shouldn't be out, so you can just ask for it. Kind of like snow plowing, got to get the snow out of the way where we can see. Okay, so I'm going to switch. I'm going to get actually a bigger mirror, see if this actually helps. Oh, it looks like we're getting a little better light coming in as we come around. Are we in the middle? There's the color code. It is green. Confirmed. Okay, so staying at it. Because you got to see. If you don't see all the way around it, you can't tell if something's coming loose. So if you're getting blinded now, if I were to measure the distance between the edge to the implant fixture, the edge of the adjacent teeth, that's the only obstacle really in working, because you're dealing with parallel teeth next door. So if you got an instrument you want to use, it's got to have the right length, and in order to use the angle you want, you got to see around the head of whatever instrument that you're going to be using. So otherwise you're working kind of blind in there. So now with laser work, you're cauterizing. It's nice cauterization versus electrical. You can't use electrical in here. Electric cautery has no place near an implant. But soft tissue laser you can, because you're not really generating a lot of heat and there's no electrical current. And as long as you keep the head moving, you're good. Alright, so now everything's uncovered. There we go. Now I like to soak this just to kind of for starters, but there's really no reservoir to soak into. Everything is obliterated and it's kind of co-welded from all the manipulation. So it looks like the key here is to find out, well, where's the seam between the screw remnant and that of the remnant of the abutment. So you got to find the seam. If you do that, that's where you park some of your solution, and you're going to get a separation. So I'm coming off camera for a second. I'll put my laser away, turn it off. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to start using these little, we'll take a whole bunch of those and put them right on over here. Put a bend in them. So we're going to be using the tartar and stain cleaner. It's a denture cleaner, basically. It goes after tartar, bioburden. We might even use some machine oil in there. We're going to use some machine oil. We're going to use some Crisco oil. We got all kinds of oils. Okay, I'll just take that bunch now. Okay, so here we go. And in fact, I almost want to go to using WD-40, which I'll use out of the mouth. I won't use it in the mouth. Not yet. But it works great, I tell you. If you've got parts that are seized together, you put it in there for about 10 minutes, and it just seems like it's the right combination. So here we go. Now we're up around 8 power. 8 power. Alright, now we're going to use the same delivery system as we've done in the past. Alright, and that goes in the top of the screw head. Am I in the middle? Okay. And I'm just going to pass the used ones back to my assistant. So I'm well away from, if you feel anything, Bill, let me know. I'll cut back on this stuff. Let me have that microsuction. So this is what we borrow from the endodontist, microsuction. And coming all the way around it. And now we'll soak it again. Alright. And then we're going to use a long explorer, a nice sharp explorer. Right here. And a wipe. Okay, wipe. Get it nice and clean. Very good. Alright. Okay, now I'm going to reach in and just see if there's any movement. I'm just looking for micro movement. So the chances that, if you can get in between the screw head and that of the fixture, then you can at least try to get a path of solution to go into. So that's what I'm working with right now. Kind of working in between. I could just go after and just start doing a drill out, but I'm going to try to do it this way first. And let's just see if that'll work. If not, we'll move on to the next steps. Okay. Alright, well, we can find the middle. That's the middle of the screw, right in there. So that's where we're going to place a pilot hole. And then we'll back around that and try to manipulate that out. Or we'll just drill out the rest of the head of the remnants of the screw itself. Screw head. Sorry, the screw head. And then we go from there. So here comes part of the leaf. So this is a seam that's in between both the screw head and the abutment. And the micro suction again. All right. Okay. Okay, same explorer. So now we can see a lot better. So here's the outline of the screw. Here's one piece, here's the other side, and here's the third. So now you can see the whole screw. And then here's another seam in between. That's soft tissue. I'll get rid of that. All good? Okay. All right. I'm just kind of peeling, moving I'm bending this wall of the screw in and pulling it away from the abutment. That's what I'm doing on one side. You can see if I can gain a little more, less undercuts is better. We know it's bent. We're just bending it back. And now we're getting in here. This is good. So we're getting good penetration, starting to work. I'm sure they use ultrasonics. They were probably using everything in the book to try to get that out. So you have to anticipate. A lot of the heroics comes from mechanical thought, and I like to break it down. Sometimes a little bit of chemical helps the mechanical. At least allows things to be more clear. Now I don't see cement in there in the way, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It might be in between the wall, but I don't see any cement. There's nothing gathered or occurring around the head of the. I do see some bone. Wipe. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and move in. It could be co-welded further down, but I'm just trying to see if I can get one more side of this to move in. It might come loose, like right in there. Okay. There we go. All right. There we go. And we have a longer explorer, like an endo explorer. And I'm going to actually, here comes a piece. So I'm going to use the suction to get that out. We might have to change suction heads, as it's a piece of metal that's coming off. Sorry. You okay? Need to close and rest?
Hey, good, yeah.
Yeah. Just don't suck on that socket. Get a bad taste right away. You all right?
I just swallowed.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah, right.
You want some water?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. I can give you a little bit of water if you need it.
I'm good.
Okay. So probably have to change the head on that. And those are okay. So now I'm going to reach in again. Now this is an Endo Explorer. Okay, so that's the leaf. Okay. Okay, so it looks like it's pretty much locked in. So we will make a penetrating hole right in the middle, right there. We'll start off with that. We're going to use just our regular length. I think we will be fine with our regular length stuff. So we're going to use a 1/4 round burr. These are from Alpen, 1/4 round. And so we're going to use a drill bit, a 1/4 round drill bit. It's got approximately, it's less than 1/2 millimeter in diameter. So we go 1/4, 1/2, 1, 2. 1/4, 1/2, round 2. So we don't want to go to 2. The 2 is too large. Stay around 1/4 and 1/2. 1/4's good. It's a friction lock. We'll extend it all the way. First thing we're going to do is check the rotation. Make sure we got everything in the right way. Yes. That's our burr. Back in the mouth. And now we're going to use a little bit of oil and some Crisco mix. A little combination there. And we're going to drill a pilot hole. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is put a little hole, tiny little dimple, right in the middle of the screw itself. Out, please. Okay. Do that again. I'm going to drop the patient down just a little bit. There we go. I need to retract with the mirror, small mirror, or actually with an instrument. Don't use that, I'm going to need it. Use a comp plier handle. Okay, just right there. That's good. Okay, so we're just going to dimple it. Start that first. Okay, now we're going to rinse that. Okay, take a look. The outside, so there's our pilot hole. Well done. Let's make it as deep as we can, and this way we can always reference back to it. If we had to go back to it, we can reference back to it. Because I want to go wide, I want to take the head of the screw off. So we're going to go back to it. I got a good look. I'm going straight in. And now we're just going to dip that again in our oils. The two oils basically are of Crisco and just some machine oil. Okay, and we're going to rinse that off. Getting there, checking the angle. Looks like we're pretty spot on. Okay, rinse it. Okay. Okay, so I'm at least ahead of the burr now, a little more than that, maybe about 1.5. Microsuction. So sometimes vibration might cause a movement, you know, and a screw, you know, might tighten a little bit more, might loosen a little bit more. We're looking at change the head. Okay. There we go. Change the head. Right, so we just pulled off some metal and immediately clogged our microsuction tip twice. So, okay. Looked like he did derail on the last one of his cuts. Looked like it did derail toward the abutment. Just very small graze on the outside of it. That's not going to be a problem at all. Okay, now we're going to go back to pre-soaking a little bit. Now we got a little well in the middle. Hold some of the material. Alright. So I'm just working in between the abutment and that of the head of the screw. If we do get a loose screw here, if it does come loose, my gosh, then we pretty much have got it. So remember, everything this direction is to loosen. We're going to go, looks like we're tightening, but we're not, because in the mouth, it's the opposite. I'm looking through a mirror. So mirror, everything through a mirror is reverse. You try writing your name through a mirror. It's all reverse. So that's why we want that see more rotational burrs that are counterclockwise cutting. You know, we're climb cutting. We're trying to produce a good cut in the middle, maybe some vibration along the sides. We don't want to go in with anything that's going to shake and rattle everything. So I am going to go ahead now and use lateral cutting now. And we're going to switch burrs because this one has been in there a few times. That's dull. Take a brand new burr, hang it out, put the next one in. They're super sharp when they go in. They're all carbide. Yep. They're all carbide burrs. Yep, for now. Yep, absolutely. Okay. All right. Okay. Out, please. Microsuction, please. And I am going to just drop you back a hair, just a hair. Just it's like enough for a focus. Focal length here is 9 inches. And sometimes it's a fixed focal length too, so I can't really move ahead of the scope. I can go up and down. I have a worm gear that takes me up and down, but I can't really. That's the convenience of having a microscope attached to your chair versus off the wall or the roof or ceiling. My eyes feel like, I'm looking right at it. I feel like I got some micro movement, but I'm not gonna boast too much about it. But I'm getting a warmer feeling now. I'm getting a better feeling. All right, if you put enough force in one direction, hopefully it kind of, there's definitely micro movement. Okay, so we're going to take the next best method. We're going to take some of these leaves and get them away slowly, but we do it methodically from the base. Okay. I'll add some oil to that paste there. And now we'll do the rinse. Come right back in and then take an instrument and see if we can just peel this leaf in a little bit if it's ready to do that. Not quite ready. Again, trying to make a turn here. We're going to lubricate a little bit more. TNS. Maybe even add a little bit of machine oil right on top of that. Let's go right on top. Maybe we can get that to lubricate. Just trying to get in there. It's almost like a 3-in-1 oil. It's more of a hand-piece oil. Kind of get that in there. Get some penetration. All right, microsuction next. I'll take that out. You'll see a lot of floaters in there. It's a lot of little metal metallic floaters. Get them all out of there. There we go. Bend that a little bit more. I'll do a 360 all the way around. Keeping it nice and neat. Okay. Test the side leaf, see if we get any movement. Alright, so the key is to, let's have a scaler next. And something a little more robust, so we get some movement. Okay, now. Microsuction. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of prep a little bit more. All right. Okay, now we'll rinse that off. Okay. Same instrument. Okay. Microsuction. Oh, wonderful. I can see now a path into the abutment, past the screw head. And now we can go ahead and soak that area. That just opened up. That's new. So that's good news. If we can get some of our materials to go now from underneath, pumping it in there, that's a good thing. Even though it's still stationary, it's a good thing. Now it's going to be like nothing. Hopefully nothing holds it around this. There might be stuff in the threads. Who knows? But if I can just get the head of the screw up at this point, I'm just going slow in case you're wondering, well, why are you going so slow? Well, I'm going slow because maybe some of the vibration might be enough just to have it come free. Once the two separate, we're clear to go. It'll be all good. So why go in and just hack away? You don't want to do that. Take off a piece though, that's a good thing. If we can get one little leaf to come down, that's surface area that we can manage. I'm ready to rinse. Surface area is the key. Okay. Now you can see now, see I'm looking at this end and this end, these two ends right here, and then I'm coming back here. It's like a favorite place to come back, but look at this, how this opened up right in here. But you can see where they went off key right there, and they went down the side. I really think if we just get the head off, we're going to be fine. I'm not going to waste any more time. It's not time wasted, but it's why delay where we know what's holding it. Nice to see that though, nice to see that. Okay. So some more soaking. That's good. Alright. Suck it out. Getting busy over there, huh? Okay. Just make sure my tip is straight up toward the... Bring it over. Is that a new tip on there? No. I just asked if it was. No need. Just asked if it did get changed. We're good. Maybe in a few more rounds I might change it out. Okay. Okay, let me look straight in. Okay, there's the inside of the abutment. Alright, let me have a scaler again. Alright. I like this one better. Alright, now we're getting in between. Now we can soak it again. I keep that one though, I like it. Okay. So I'm not bending anything outward, I'm pushing in. I'm trying to get this to finally cave in and let's be done with it. Microsuction. Watch the chin. Okay, anything? Any separation? So again, that's the screw head. That's the abutment. Two separate entities identified by just soaking it. Got it to move. See it? Okay, we got a screw that's now loose, so let's soak it. I'm in the middle. Okay. Okay. That's a good go-to instrument. I'm glad you switched it out. That's good. Yeah. So a little bit of TNS and a little bit of oil right now, right in there. Now that we got it to move, so that's like a lead. You know, if you had a lead technique right now, I'm going to follow it because I'm not going to take anything off anymore. I can even go back and forth a little bit, you know, tighten and loosen until finally I have it come. Let's go. Let's get some of the excess out. Okay. That's a beautiful sight right there. Anytime you can move a screw like that, that's a nice sight. The question is, you know, what's in its path? The head is the path. Is there something bent in the way, you know, that's going to go into that little slot area? So we have an instrument. This is a scaler, and I can use it to kind of move the leaves a little bit, you know, just to bend them out of the way so that we can rotate this further. The question is, you know, where is it binding? And if I can use the burr again, I'll just free that up. See, because the slots now, he's got two slots going on, and you want the screw head to rotate now, but it's got two fins on it. You know what I mean? Oops, see, now it went back. So we can move it back and forth. Let's see, it won't rotate until that fin is finally removed. So once we get rid of that fin, it'll spin all the way out. And we'll be done. And we'll get the screw out first, and then the abutment. We were going to try to get the abutment out, and then the screw, or the sides of the abutment. But, okay, so now we know what we have to do, because it's bent out of the position. Now I just have to prep it. So I'll take a brand new burr. We'll get that little leaf off of there. That'll be a happy situation coming up. What things can get in our way at this point? Well, yeah, I still want to be able to see. So let's, they always say trust your brain, not your eyes sometimes. So it's like too much can get caught up into the idea. It's like, oh, we got a loose screw now, we can play with it. But why not pre-soak it some more? Why not? Just not going to hurt anything. If anything, it might just loosen up even some more. Who knows what's underneath? We're going to find out, because a lot of things happen from the day the surgeon uncovers the fixture. That day, blood can go in there. You never know. There could be some cement that squeaked by and got into the threads. We don't know. So you have to prepare for that. Oh, here we go. Pull it up, face it. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay. Alright. So minimally invasive all the way on this one. Took a little bit of tissue out of the way. Alright, we're going to go with the same scaler. Now we're going to move the mag up. But I'm going to take 2 minutes just to clean my mirror. The face of the mirror is filled with some spray, so we'll use some water right away on that first. Before, we don't want to scratch it. So we'll just put some water on that first, and then water on that, and then you can wipe it and then tissue it. There you go, and then won't scratch. Hey, we've been at it now. Looking at elapsed time, 41 minutes, 23 seconds. Got a little late start on this one, but we're getting there. Probably end up ending it soon, folks. Ending it soon. See if we can move this fin in and just bend it in a little bit. Not cooperating. Oh. Alright, so we will trim that fin off right now. Pre-soaking, and then of course we put a little oil and Crisco. My two go-tos now, and we'll go from the back in. We're going to burnish it in toward the middle until the fin is gone. Once the fin is gone, you'll see how fast this wants to rotate around. Well, we hope. So before I do anything, we want to rinse that off thoroughly. Okay. Do it again. Okay. All right. Let's see. There it goes. See if we can get a complete turn. What else is going to be in the way? Let's soak it. It turned another quarter turn. So we're past that obstacle. Now everything is loose. It's just soaking now. Everything is soaking good. So it's metal. Metal, if it's got a frayed end to it, it's going to grab hold of the other piece. It's going to stay there for a little while until it can be freed up. Little jagged edges everywhere. But machine oil helps, Sometimes, if I had WD-40, that's a miracle. That works so well. Working it back and forth, you never know. Would I put a little driver in there at this point and just turn that baby out of there? Yeah. Yeah, some risk, but, it might be worth it. There's some risk involved. It's just not spinning on its own. We did move it a lot. Now we're doing a whole half a turn on it. But because of its irregularities, it's not a true turn. So you got parts of it that are bent, parts of it are prep. A lot. So, all right. was expecting it to come straight out. So let's get a lever instrument now. A lever instrument, and what we're going to do, actually we're going to do our own little slot. It's going to be a little further different than this. We'll just go a little bit different. So we're going to make our own little slot in the middle. And it's not going to be that wide either. It's just like you're talking 0.2 of a millimeter thickness. I'm going to make it so that it's the same diameter as one of my lever instruments so that I can just do the turning myself. Instead of taking a large screwdriver and trying to produce heroics here, we're going to use a small lever instrument. They're pre-made, pre-fit. I pretty much know their diameter. And now I'm just making my own little slot right in the middle. I'm going to go at least a little bit past. Remember I drilled that pilot hole as a safety type of thing. Now go into the head of the pilot. Okay, pre-soak it. And now we've got some nice lever instruments. You need to close and rest a little bit, Swallow?
Okay.
They're in here. Yep, those are the levers. Now we could take just a Hollenbeck. Well, we had good success with Hollenbecks, but I think if we tried, some of these are prefabricated. They have a serrated end, which makes them right at the tip, not on the sides, so it allows them to grip further down into a driver. Yes. Yep. And so here they are. That's serrated end on that. It goes, slips all the way down in there like so. Grabs a hold, and as you turn, it stays with it. So the lever's winning here. So that's one complete turn. Middle. And now we're turning again. That's 2 turns, so no problem. We got the screw coming out now, folks. And guess what's going to happen next? The abutment. It's going to come right on out. Because nothing's going to hold it in there. Alright, so some finishings here, but I don't expect to see much damage at all internally. I think the key take home here is pre-soak as much as you can. Create a path that is logical, that you can utilize instruments that are made in your advantage. You can't use an instrument if you're not ready for it, yet. So you got to kind of create a path. For us, it was that quarter turn and just getting it loose. So I knew that what's next? Create a path. Well, you got a lot of jagged edges in there. When we go to do a debrief, we'll show you all the parts. So this screw threads are at least, I believe they're 8, if not 9 threads long. I checked it before I came in. Like I said, it's very similar to Zimmer. This is a Implant Direct. Now my dental assistant, she's going to have the pink suction screen ready. And maybe a hemostat might be in order here. So yeah, so everything, you can see everything is nice and loose. I don't have to pre-soak anymore now. There's plenty of, you can see the fluids coming out. Plenty of fluids there. But the thread number, look at how many threads I'm turning. I think I'm probably up to at least 6 or 7 turns here. It's coming out. I think the sure pleasure here has always been, I'm going to use a net too. Let's put a net down. So the net is some gauze. I'm going to back up the mag. Let's go. We're going to put some gauze just as a patient protection. We don't want anything to fall down inside. All right, now you just kind of breathe. Keep breathing. You're okay. And we're going to wipe this off. Okay. And let's just see if we can get it out with our hemostat. Yep. Okay, so here's our screw. Let me show it to you. Thank you. So Here it is. If you count in threads, that's the part where the dentist went in and made a very long slot. And here's our little slot. Can I have that instrument again? I'll just show you the instrument. And see, this fits, knowing the slot size, and then you can turn. So these you can make easily. Those are easy to make. This is all out now. That actually is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threads and a very long shaft. So that's good. Now you got the right screw out, and that can be easily reordered. So the next thing now is to use the hemostats to get the abutment out. So we're going to do that next. So we take the hemostats, and we're going to take the abutment now and get that out. And we have our suction ready. Our dental assistant's going to come over with the suction now. And we're just going to kind of pop this out now. Okay. There it is. We have it. And let me show you the abutment close up. So it is an internal hex abutment. You can see that hex. You see the rim. And there's the slot. So we'll hang on to this piece, put that right in the cleaner. Now the next step is to clean up the fixture, and we're going to investigate the inside. Now there's no shiny marks in the anodized internal portion, so we know there hasn't been any metal rubbing in there, no friction. That's good news. We're going to go with some fresh fuzzies, as we call them, little micro brushes. I'm going to go well inside that now and clean it. So I always say every case is a little story about, you know, each one of the rescues has its own little path, own little problem. But by and large, you know, once you're through the head of a screw, there's not much else going to hold it in, unless it's completely threaded and there's damage to the threads themselves. Back up the mag, rinse it all out. This one's very clean internally. Microsuction it out. I'm using a 2.5-inch mirror. I've got another mirror I like to use. It's a size 5, but it's got a reflectability of the mirror itself. Lets in a lot more light. It's a nice mirror. What's the name of this mirror again? Oh, it's from Zurich. Z-I-R-C, Zurich mirrors. They let more, I don't know, the reflectability of the mirror itself is great. Okay, so we're sucked out completely. It's completely clean. Now the time the dentist wants us to put in, the referring dentist wants us to put in the healing abutments. Either one is fine. I'm going to pick a little bit of a wider one here because I'm judging he's going to want to go in, you know, and make a new abutment. So let's go with the wide one. Now the driver is going to be an 050, I believe. So we'll take the driver out of the Ankylose Biomat kit that I have. Get our driver out. And this is just going to be hand tightened. That's it. Just hand tightened in. It goes in very nicely. Always say go a little left and a little right. And there's no need to lubricate at this point. Alright. So again, it is got a taperedness to the abutment. So a little left, a little right, a little left, a little right. And you'll feel the threads engage as you tighten it down. Alright, and just a little hand tighten. That's probably about 15 newtons right there. That's all you need to do. And ladies and gentlemen, we're finished. This is Dr. Gerard Cuomo with another successful implant rescue. Oh, the hands are clapping and the toes are stomping and the patient's happy, and it's time, I don't know, what's the old saying? Time for lasagna. You got it. Okay. Okay. Take care. Thanks for watching. God bless.